Man, oh man, what a weekend. Peace breaking out, hopefully in the Middle East. Superintendent, biggest school district in a state hires an illegal alien as superintendent. Oh, we didn't know that, but he's black. Holy cow. You don't think racism isn't alive and well? And it comes exactly where from the people, let's put it this way, from the people that shout it, they are the biggest races and really the only races left on the earth. We'll prove that case once again. Tons, tons of news, none bigger. Bill Asaley, our esteemed U.S. attorney out here in Central and Southern California, indicted Riversider Cynthia Ragosa for doxing ICE agents and going out and publicizing their homes, terrorizing them and their families, putting their kids in danger. She's now under indictment and will stand trial. And we'll see how the conviction comes out. But yeah, FAFO, Cynthia, and all your little crews that want to go out there and protest, drive your bullhorns out there, or your churlas, or bringing them in to Moreno Valley Unified Crime Syndicate, Miss Johanna, and the Roof. Just beware. That's all we got to say on that. Well, just in a minute. The big meeting between Chucky Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Mike Johnson, Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance, and the rest of the crew on this is what it is. We will no longer be spending more than we're taking in. Not government shutdown. There's not going to be a government shutdown. What they're talking about is not funding deficit spending. Let's get the terminology right. The center right conservatives, fiscal conservatives, you play into their game using that's what shut down the government. Everybody goes, oh, we can't have that. Not shutting down the government. In fact, if you want the Doge cuts, you should be encouraging no more increase in the debt ceiling. That gives Trump and his administration much. He can put in all the Doge cuts. Here's J.D. Vance in their little healthcare scheme. This is what they're going to drug at the tears. They want to fund healthcare for illegals and a whole bunch of other stuff. But here's J.D.
This negotiation has not taken place until today. But if you look at the original thing they did with this negotiation, it was a $1.5 trillion spending package, basically saying to the American people, we want to give massive amounts of money, hundreds of billions of dollars to illegal aliens for their health care, while Americans are struggling to pay their health care bills. That was their initial foray into this negotiation.
The first one, J.D. Vance, telling you their first foray into this. First thing, we got to cut. If we don't borrow more money that at your expense that you're going to have to pay back plus interest, oh, we may have to cut health care for illegals. We'll get it on the chopping block. Here you go, Trump. They're handing you this on a silver platter. I hope you're wise enough to take it. And if you would start from Trump, if he would start it on down to JD and Mike Johnson and Thune and everybody else, we're not putting anything more in the credit card. We're spending what we're taking in. We're taking in $5 trillion frickin' dollars a year in the US government. We can't run it on that. If we can't run it on that, we're done anyway. All this is doing is prolonging the death date. Here's the rat's proposal. Free, taxpayer funded. No. At no cost to illegals, funded benefits paid for by you, the U.S. taxpayer, for illegals. All their benefits, not just health care, everything. $500 million for liberal news outlets and other partisan priorities. National Public Radio, USAID, and all this other stuff. Massive $1.5 trillion spending hike. They want to go more. Why? Just burn the USA to the ground. We buy on this. We're beyond freaking insane. We're going to have a big renaissance coming. And one of it is voter ID. Scott Pressler, Nicole Shanahan, Benny Johnson, led by our Assemblyman Carl DeMaio, and others. Some high weight people are coming in. And I hope Trump jumps on this. Trump needs to come in here, get the donors, get 15 million bucks in. We'll get the signatures. We'll get voter ID on the ballot. That way, no matter what, after 26, it's going to be fait accompli. Here's Benny Johnson on with Nicole Shanahan.
And where I'm putting my efforts is on the voter ID initiative. We do know that there's an enormous number of undocumented individuals that are casting votes in our California election. That's a problem, especially when you know that behind that are Mexican cartels that are getting paid and they're kind of working with the California government to ensure this endless amount of migration, undocumented migration. So voter ID is where I'm going to be focused.
This is extremely great news. Nicole Shanahan's now on board. Hopefully Trump gets his troops in, Rick Grenell and all that. We'll be able to flood the zone, get this on the ballot under no uncertain terms. Here's the one with Scott Pressler. He says after the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia elections where he's working on that, he's coming to California. We're going to get voter ID on the ballot. And we should be working to get ground zero. If Republicans are going to keep the House, it's through California. We can pick up 4 or 5 seats in California. Sans this stupid redistricting thing and no on 50 coming up in November. We'll see how that works out. If no on 50, if that is defeated, we can pick up 5 seats easily in California in the House of Representatives. Here's this numbnuts. Jackie Norris, former chief of staff of Michelle Obama, head of the Des Moines School Board, 30,000 plus kids, same size as the Marina Valley Unified Crime Syndicate. Biggest school district, though, in Iowa. They hire a frickin' illegal alien. An illegal alien. An illegal alien. As superintendent. Oh, we didn't know. And then check this. We'll get into this deeper. Check this clip out.
On behalf of the Des Moines Public School community, I want to provide an update from district leadership.
On behalf of the Des Moines School and community. No, on your sorry ass that couldn't run a frickin' popsicle stand, lady. Listen to this, Trump.
and the board on the current situation unfolding with our superintendent, Dr. Ian Roberts. Before we begin, it seems fitting to take
If I me in, I'm going to browbeat you into the ground and no criticism at all. Listen to this crowd.
a page out of Dr. Roberts' book and ask the community to engage in radical empathy as we work through this situation together. Radical empathy is the recognition that we can disagree and still empathize with each other.
We're not empathizing with stupidity, lady. You knew what the hell you were doing. Oh, we got more pictures to show this. Your and yours attempt, led by your former boss, Barack Obama, the racist in chief, you're going to shove it down the Iowan's throat and the rest of America. Screw you, lady. We'll have much more on this here in a few minutes. Trump met with Bibi Netanyahu, the head of Israel, says they have a peace deal, included most of the Middle East. Now all they got to do is get Hamas to agree with it. This is going to be a little tricky, I say, but hey, Trump's got Bibi to agree to a peace deal with Hamas and the Gaza Strip. Here we go.
Part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East. And let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been incredible.
Seems like everybody around is on board with the Trump solution. Even Bibi Netanyahu has signed on to it. So now it's up to Hamas. Either Hamas agrees or they need to start leveling that place. Don't quit screwing around. Either people of the Gaza Strip there want Hamas to run things, or they want to be a free people. And we're not having Hamas and their terrorist crap. End of story. We have the whole thing with Portland and the mayor and all that crap. We'll get into this. You know, Trump sending the feds into Portland to protect at least what he has authority to do, protect our federal buildings. This was from a couple years ago. We'll get into the violence in that. You got to hear this clip.
So how is it like being homeless in Portland?
It's a piece of cake, really. I mean, that's why you probably got so many out here, because they feed you 3 meals a day. You don't have to do shit but stay in your tent or party, or if you smoke a lot of dope, you can do that. What else? What else, Melissa? What else do I say? I'm being interviewed.
What's it?
That's really it. It's like you wake up, you go eat at Blanche, get high. Go eat at Blanche for lunch, you get high. Go eat dinner, get high.
That's what they are fueling in Portland, along with Antifa and everything else. They're burning our federal buildings. You know what? The rest of the stuff the Portland and Oregon people got to pay for, we, all of us, and the dumb asses in the 50 states got to pay for when they damage or burn or loot the federal buildings. And this is Portland, Oregon. Maybe screwed up worse than LA and San Francisco. Oh, all we do is wake up, we get free meals, then we get high. We're paying for this. Probably paying through with federal dollars too. I'm sure Portland's shoving federal dollars into this. That's why we need to say no more on the credit card. Zip is not a nothing. We're cutting this crap out. 1,000%. Another one, ICE versus crooked cities in the IE. We don't get to it today. We'll get to it later on in the week. because it's absolutely insane. Here's another one. I told you, been telling you for decades. When they said, oh, we're going to take University of California at Riverside from an agriculture, nice school, mainly specialized in agriculture. Think the premier agriculture university, not probably the state of California, maybe even the world. We fricking destroyed that. Oh, we're going to do medical. We're going to have a medical school. We're going to have healthcare. We're going to have hospitals. We're going to take care of everybody at a lesser cost. We're going to have local personnel and doctors and nurses and technicians all here, and it'll all be all homegrown. That was a lie. This is in the press enterprise. They have a shortage of local doctors. Duh. And nurses and lab technicians and on and on. So what did all the billions of dollars going into UCR and that turned Riverside into an asshole? Peeling it back a little bit, turned Moreno Valley into an asshole. Hemet into an asshole. Paris into an asshole. We're beyond insane. We don't get to that today. We'll get to it later in the week, too. Trump is pissed. But the crooked cops and FBI directors and prosecutors and everything else on J6 and everything else on Russiagate and the whole thing, he put out a great tweet on that. This is our meme of the day. Maybe the reason grown adults are acting like children about President Trump is because he stepped up, acted like the strict parent to a group of spoiled, ignorant, entitled teenagers in a government that has been a true father figure for a long time. They've been the father figure in acting this stupid. And that's why we should shut off the credit card, fund the government on the $5 trillion or so we collect every year, not borrowing another $2 trillion, 2+. Hell, the rats want us to borrow another 1.5 on top of that. They almost want to borrow this year. Well, we're actually more, as much as we're taking in. Taking in $5 trillion, they want to borrow $3.5 trillion. Whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by subduing the freeness of speech. Benjamin Franklin. In 1731, mind you, 35 years before the Declaration of Independence was fought. And Ben was a young man. He was probably about 35 then, because I think he was around 70 when the Declaration of I was signed. The reason we bring this up is Tom Del Beccaro gave us this. Facebook admits they censored anybody the Biden administration told them to. We didn't ask questions. Yeah, because they were getting paid off by your money to shut you up. We cannot make this stuff up. We'll get into this much more on today's show. It's going to be an absolute barn burner. Yes, it will be. Of all again, we've had one hell of a weekend with all this stuff that we have cracked off. Mind you, some of the most ridiculous stuff, that superintendent hiring an illegal alien. Holy cow. It's almost unbelievable. I would have never thought. I wouldn't have guessed a school district could hire an illegal alien to run our schools. 30,000. Biggest school district. This just shows you the difference between Southern California or California and Iowa. Biggest school district in Iowa. Polk County, Des Moines School District, 30,000. We got 30,000 in the Moreno Valley Unified Crime Syndicate, and we're the third largest just in Riverside County. Riverside and Corona are bigger than us. They hired an illegal alien. It's astonishing. Astonishing the stupidity. But here we are. Let's get into the Portland. You heard that. That was from a couple years ago. The doped out lady. Oh, yeah. We just have a great time in Portland. They pay us to sit, to get stoned in the morning and drunk in the afternoon. Eat dinner, get high. Have breakfast, get high. Lunch, get high. Well, if we make up in the middle of the night, we'll have some ice cream and get high. It's been going on for years across all of our major cities. We are putting up with this kind of nonsense. We are paying for. Go eat dinner, get high. Because you know there's federal money in that, if you're in Oregon, well, if you're in California, you're paying up the wazoo in this. I don't care if you're in Lexington, Kentucky. Some of your money's going to pay for that. I'm sure they're pilfering off federal tax dollars that they are pointing a gun and collecting from you and paying for this. It's not a zero-sum game. Yet, we seem to roll with it a lot. So Trump sends, which the courts in the Ninth Circus, which Portland is a part of, but down here, remember when LA was getting all nose out of joint about this, sued in court, and the court said, Trump's got the right to come in, protect federal assets, buildings, property, yada, 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 in all 50 states. We had the George Floyd riots. We've had Antifa attacking time and time again for years now. It's never really stopped in Portland. Along with the paying for the elite dinner and get high, they're backing off the cops and telling them not to do anything to Antifa when they're torching federal buildings. Here's some more of it. And it's really stunning of where we're at in society. We have mayors and governors that defend this crap in the United States of America. This is the stuff that's going on. This And they just let it ride every day, 16 hours a day. That is a federal building. Trump not only has the right, he has the duty. He has the duty to protect our federal assets that we paid for from getting destroyed. And then we have to rebuild them again. At probably 10 times the cost that we built these buildings before. So this is why Trump sent the troops into Oregon, because they've continued to let this crap ride. And it ain't gonna fly anymore. You have the governor over there. She's running this kind of noise. Here we go. Ooh.
Means that they will do that every day, but they are not needed in the city.
The other video would not shut off. They still wanted to run the crime scene, I guess, as we're going. Let's see. Oh, there, we'll shut it off. Now we'll see if we can play the doofus mayor of that. Here we go. I think.
National security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city.
There's no need for troops in our city to protect the federal buildings, which Trump swore on the oath of Constitution to protect, you moron. He had the limp-wristed Wilson mayor. Oh, we're going to be nice and we got to be this. University town. I tell you, fight like hell. They're going to sell you, oh, college kids and that. Look at the university, Utah Valley University, and what's happened to around those areas, around the college towns of Utah. Once rock solid, center right, conservative, freedom and liberty type state is being turned into California, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Salt Lake City, and the surrounding areas. No more Osmonds coming out of Provo. That's not going to be allowed. We're going to shove DEI, transgender. Look at that. Does that look like a woman, governor? And look at the surrounding people behind her. You can't make this stuff up. That's why Trump had to go in there. And he will further rock and roll in that community until it's all, till at least the federal, he can stay there until he feels the federal buildings are safe from mass destruction, that the federal employees are protected and can go to work without having to fist fight their way in and shoot their way out, coming out to go home. This is an interesting chart. There's more diversity of thought on the political right than the political left. Who would have ever thought this? Not if you listen to the stupid media, most of it. Although they pride themselves in open-mindedness and liberal thinking, actually coalesces around a very narrow set of opinions, whereas the right diverges widely. If you see the little cluster of blue over there? If you get out of that range, if you're center left off the kook, transgender, DEI, all this other crap, global warming, climate change, we're all going to die of diesel smoke. Trump is Hitler. You don't agree with that, you're not in the club. How do you think Ma'am Damney is making it in New York? Now look at the diversified thought over on the right in the red. You don't have to be. You are not a monolithic thinker. If it's like Charlie Kirk, you have freedom across your chest on your shirt. This chart is absolutely stunning. But it really explains what's going on in the country right now. And why you can have MAGA types, conservatives, libertarians, as they call them, freedom and liberty types. That's all that big red circle. You step out of line in the Democratic side, you get shouted down. They will torture buildings. They will threaten you. They will dox you. They will threaten your kids. Ask old Cynthia Ragosa, who's now facing federal indictment from Riverside. Go ask Des Moines School District, and we'll deal with that when we get on the other side on KMET. We got a lot of problems going on. Got a lot of concerns. We got a lot of positives too, as we said. The troops are coming in. People are starting. Benny Johnson, Nicole Shanahan, Scott Pressler. Coming in nationally now, what I've been saying. Don't let the cancer of California kill the 4 other 49 states. We can pick up the seats here. First, we got to defeat the Newsom gerrymander, power grab. We can pick up 5 seats in the House of Representatives in California in 26. Trump needs to get that voter ID executive order signed and in place for 26, at least for the congressional elections. We'll get it on the ballot. Hopefully we'll get it on the ballot by the June primary. If we get it on, and I got to ask this question, if we get it for the primary in the June ballot, is it possible that it would be in for November for voter ID? Oh, that would fry their brain. This is Liz. She's part of the LA County Republicans down in LA County fighting the good fight. Finally, we're making headway. We're getting more to explain what is really going on with this redistricting.
Official sample ballots in the mail. And the language on the ballot specifically references Texas. The title says that it authorizes temporary changes to congressional district maps in response to Texas's partisan redistricting. So now we have to educate ourselves about what really happened in Texas. In 2020.
Well, Ben, it's a momentous day. The former director of the
I-
FBI, James Comey, has been indicted on 2 counts of lying.
We know that. We didn't want Ted Cruz. How did it flip to Ted frickin' Cruz? Anyway,
I just found out that Gavin Newsom's attempt to redistrict California is actually racist. Yesterday, we got our official sample ballots in the mail, and the language on the ballot specifically references Texas. The title says that it authorizes temporary changes to congressional district maps in response to Texas's partisan redistricting. So now we have to educate ourselves about what really happened in Texas. In 2021, the Biden DOJ sued Texas for drawing maps that didn't take race into account. The issue is whether these coalition districts, which bring in different populations of Black and Latino voters into one district, is constitutional or not. The courts ruled against the Biden administration. Race-based coalition districts are unconstitutional, but the maps didn't get redrawn. Then comes in the Trump administration, and Harmeet Dillon sent a letter to Texas. It put Texas on notice that 4 of their districts are unconstitutional coalition districts, urging the state to rectify this. Otherwise, they're going to get sued for having unconstitutional.
so the whole thing, the title in the California ballot is totally misleading, should be illegal, should be thrown out by the courts. No, Texas is not doing a partisan redistricting. Texas is doing a redistricting mandated by the federal government, sued by the Biden administration. Texas was sued by the Biden administration. Now the Trump administration, led by Harmeet Dillon, assistant U.S. attorney, under civil rights, which has the voting stuff, saying, okay, Texas, you better get your redistricting done or you're going to be in a heap of trouble. California is not under that. Probably should be. California is not under that mandate. Texas is. There's a lie. They're not. It is not a partisan. It's not Trump called up and said, hey, I need 5 seats over there in Texas. But if we want to play that game, Newsy, Republicans have done a lot less gerrymandering in the red states than you guys. You guys have done it like 9,000 times. So if the Republicans get their heads out of their ass and play hardball, you're going to lose. You will probably almost, if Republicans start gerrymandering like the Democrats did in 26, there'll probably be 240 Republican seats and about 190 Democrats. Be careful what you wish for, Gabby.
Got about 40 seconds, Roy.
As Mr. Sean said, we'll be joining the Mighty KMET here in a few seconds.
30 seconds.
We'll get into the whole superintendent illegal alien hiring.
Oh, God.
Oh, you're gonna
300,000 a year, by the way, he was making.
You're gonna love this one, Sean.
All right, here
You'll
we
be
go.
paying attention for once.
10 seconds. Here we go.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky fly guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band. Join your vast video audience. Evil FB Network, Rumble, X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, do all that good stuff. On that, Trump's got a peace deal going with Bibi Netanyahu, Israel, most of the Mideast nations. Now it's up to Hamas. Take the deal, or I think Trump's going to do like he said with Ukraine. He's going to say, Bibi, go do what you got to do. So really the ball game now is in Hamas's hands. Do they want to sign on and get this over with, stop the killing, get the hostages home, return the remains of the loved ones that have been killed, and get rid of the terrorism and we'll all move on. If you want to fight a war, then okay, it's Katie, bar the door. They had the meeting with Chucky Schumer, Hakeem Hairlip Jeffries. Can you understand what that clown says? John Thune, Mike Johnson, J.D. Vance, Donald J. Trump, probably Bessent secretary, and a few others. I'm sure Russ Vogt was in on it. It is not a government shutdown. Quit. J.D. Vance was using the word. Trump, quit using that word. It is, we are going to, and the Trump administration, I believe, like I said before, they should be encouraging that. Elon Musk should be rolling it. If you want the Doge cuts in, if they don't increase the credit card, if they don't increase the debt ceiling, means you cannot spend more than you take in. Does not mean the government shuts down. Means there's going to be some choices made. Well, you know that health care for illegal aliens? Gone. Gone. We're just penciling that. We just ain't got the money to pay for it. We got $5 trillion. We're overspending by $2 trillion. We get a $7 trillion budget. The rats want to go 1.5 more than that. They want to go 3.5. They want to almost spend as much as we're taking in. With 36 trillion in debt. Absolutely insane. Good news. Good news. Troops are coming in. Benny Johnson, Nicole Shanahan, Scott Pressler have all said, hey, we're coming in with after the Virginia and New Jersey, Pennsylvania elections, we're coming into California. We're going to get voter ID on the ballot. We need to defeat Prop 50, the Newsomander, the power grab, the blatant political aristocracy, dictatorship Gavin Newsom wants to run. It's criminal of what's going on here. But we've got troops coming in. We're starting to run the rhetoric. If we can change that, if we can change the center right, guys, it is not a government shutdown. For the life of me, I don't know why Trump is not saying, hey, which I think he's going to do. He said, it's the Schumer shutdown. That's what they should be calling it. Hey, we're just, okay. Social Security checks are going out. We're paying for this. We're paying the military for the military, yada, yada. Oh, healthcare for illegals? Well, I guess we're just not paying that bill this month. Studies of the sex habits of rats in Uganda for transgenderism. Oh, we don't need to be, we're done with that. Nope, out. Foreign aid to wherever stand or whomever, wherever. Oh, I guess we just can't afford that. Got to buy gas for the FBI agents and the National Guard to go in there and protect Portland and Los Angeles and Memphis, Tennessee and Chicago. Too bad. I saved this for when we came on KMET. We did a little bit of preview, so you can go back and check on it. Jane Wilson, former chief of staff of Michelle Obama, is now head of the school board of Des Moines, Iowa. This is your school board of Des Moines, Iowa. Let that sink in. First, when you look at school boards, if you're going to the election, just because you're a teacher or a mom who wears a minivan or whatever, does not make you qualified to run a school district. I don't even get into the part of whether you even got the talent or the ability to raise kids. Just that does not qualify. You know, how many? There's probably 2 or 3 billion moms walking around the earth right now. Or how many in recorded history They're all not qualified to run school districts. Just be that qualification. Especially when you've been on the nutcase, racist. Remember the radical equity was sheer stuff. Oh, you can't criticize. Oh, he's black. Oh, isn't he wonderful? They've been so oppressed. Look at that picture. That's Janie Wilson looking at the illegal superintendent, illegal alien, and that isn't the part of it. Had deportation orders over a year ago under the Biden administration. I think we can tell just by looking at the pictures probably what's been going on in and around the principals at the Des Moines School District. We can all make our own value judgments. That picture, I think, tells a lot. There's Janie Wilson and the crew trying to explain away how they hired an illegal alien, criminal record, how they gave him a car, that ICE agents chased him down, had guns and knives and cash in it. Oh, all the stuff you get evil, that's only those evil white hillbilly types got that, these farmers around here, all the.
No denying this simple fact. Yesterday was a jarring day for many people, not only at Des Moines Public Schools, but throughout this community and country. In 2023, our students, staff, and families warmly welcome Dr. Roberts into our community, and he has served as an enthusiastic voice in support of our students' academic success and the need to support public education.
Shut up. Shut the heck up. You hired him a diversity, equity, inclusion. You didn't care because you want to destroy this country like your boss, excuse me, your bosses, the racists in chief, Barack and Michelle Obama. You're bringing it to Iowa.
So yesterday came as a shock to all of us. I want to be clear today. We still do not have all of the facts. According to ICE, in May 2024,
ICE is chasing him down because of your incompetence of hiring an illegal alien, criminal, racist. Jackie Norris. What a pile. The great Laura Powell. Look at this. I can't believe I missed this before. Great attorney Laura Powell says, after offering Roberts the position of superintendent in 2020, the Mill Creek Board discussed the problem that he hadn't submitted proof of his doctorate. He didn't complete his dissertation until 2021. We cannot. We're not making this stuff up. His record over there and wherever Obama land he came from overseas, been insurrections, murders, taking care of business. Yeah, these guys are, we don't like what they're saying. Silence them. You know the way they silence them over there? Boom. Oh, we just ignore. That's in his book, supposedly. This wine and crap, Jane Norris. Here's another one. Completely unbelievable.
Is there anything that could potentially change going forward in how the district vets employees?
There is not, because we followed the process.
She's telling you right there. That's an interview on Des Moines TV. We followed the process. The process we wanted to follow. We got the outcome we wanted. We want to destroy your kids. What does it take to get through to everyone or the majority or you moms that got your kids in schools? This is not just going on in the crime syndicate here in Moreno Valley. It's in Des Moines. It's in liberal Kansas. It's in Sioux City, South Dakota. It's in Seattle, Washington. It's in Tallahassee, Florida. It's in Greenville, South Carolina. Bristol, Tennessee, and all points in between. Yeah, they're trying to punt it up. Oh, we didn't know. 2020, you hired the clown. He says he's got a doctorate. And he doesn't. And you figured it out and you still kept him on. Should have fired his ass right then. But no, he's black. You know, they were oppressed and reparations and slaves and all this other stuff. I want to know, what does this clown do? Well, none. If he was a citizen, I want to know what. Who in this country today does not have the same opportunity you or I got to do whatever you want? You can be a drugged out vagrant in Portland saying, yeah, they're paying, yeah, you dummies that are paying taxes, you're paying for my lunch, dinner. I eat breakfast, we get high. We eat lunch, we get high. We eat dinner, we get high. Yeah, we wake up in the middle of the night. We get some ice cream and get high. And you're paying for it. The tranny stuff in the schools, the dumbing them down, no education, don't teach them how to read, write, do arithmetic, just tell them how great they are. Just like we played the clip last week of the guy with the racism. You know, them black folk, it's going to surprise you in Mississippi. They can actually learn to read and write. No, instead of Janie Norris calling up the dudes over in Mississippi and saying, you know, how did that Mississippi, how'd you guys turn that around? How in 10 years did you go from blacks only at 20% at grade level of reading and writing in the third grade to over 52%? These imbeciles.
The immigration judge issued a final removal order for Dr. Roberts. We were not made aware of that fact, and that's very concerning. I want to be clear, no one here was aware of any citizenship or immigration issues that Dr. Roberts may have been facing.
Clown. Janie, you were aware 5 years ago the dude was lying about his doctorate. On top of that, it's kids, background check, at a minimum. Teacher, everybody in the school district, especially teachers, administrators, superintendents. You're not checking that on a let's just say a yearly basis. Well, we're not aware of that. Well, we know flat ass you were aware that he was lying back. Damn it, he's black. Did you read his book? He's basically, as I read it, a de facto political assassin. The book you talk about, radical equity or whatever, empathy or whatever. Shut the hell up. Her husband, they work for the state. They fired him and paid him off 500 grand. John Norris, chair of the Iowa Democratic Party, served as an advisor to John Kerry.
Administrator John Norris is agreeing to leave his role in exchange for more than $500,000.
The deal comes 2 months after Norris was placed on paid leave, and today the Board of Supervisors are expected to approve that deal.
500 grand they paid him off at the county, Polk County, which is in the same area. Chair of the Democratic Party, John Kerry advisor. Janie Norris, that's Johnny Norris, her husband. Janie Norris, school board president. Now she's, get this, she's running for Senate of Iowa, U.S. Senator of Iowa. You cannot make this stuff up.
Meet Jackie Norris. She's a mom. She's a teacher.
School board member.
She's a mom on a mission.
And now Jackie's running for U.S. Senate.
She truly sees the whole picture.
Education, healthcare, jobs for the future. You know, she sees it all.
And that's exactly what Iowa needs in the Senate.
You gotta be kidding. This complete imbecile. Oh, we didn't know. 5 years we had red flag after red flag after red flag. Rebecca, the teacher. Oh, nice looking young lady. Jackie Norris is a mom. She's a teacher too. Son, when are we going to get off this teacher? Just because you're a teacher. In fact, the failure of most education systems, we should be firing them all. The collateral damage of the good ones. We'd have to endure that, but we cannot let the perfect stand in the way of the greater good.
Meet Jackie Norris. She's a mom. She's a teacher.
School board member.
She's a mom on a mission.
And now Jackie's running for U.S. Senate.
She truly sees the whole picture.
Education, healthcare, jobs for the future. You know, she sees it all.
And that's exactly what I.
Oh, she sees it all. Jackie Norris, the second coming of Jesus Christ. That way we can make. Well, Jesus can be a female, according to their world. It's beyond stunning. Again, look at that look. Well, she's looking at the illegal superintendent who's got guns running from the cops. You notice they didn't say, in a government-funded car that we gave him, we're paying him 300 grand per year. Cops at the red light, what does he do? Gas her up. Hey, we're going to get on the chase. We're going to get on the 6 o'clock news. We're going to have a big chase thing going on here. Putting people's lives in danger, regular citizens, moms, kids. Oh, but you got that empathetic. I dare say you got love in your eyes, Jackie. Prove me wrong. Just like the rest of you on there. All moms, all this. We went through that with Obama, the whole white guilt. Oh, this, he's going to save us all. No more racism. Tell me how great your judgment is. You want to shout down, and I was one of the ones from '07 when this guy was running for president, and even before when he was a senator, saying this guy is poison, meaning Barack Obama. He's doing exactly the opposite of what he's telling you. He will do more for racists than Hitler did times 10. We got to stop this nonsense. We got to deal with the reality of the situation. California, we're getting some better. At least people are starting to pay attention. Now we're going to come in. Maybe, voter ID. Maybe we'll get some more folks in here to defeat 50. We'll get in here and work on that. We can pick up 4 or 5 seats in the congressional district here in California. One of the ripest areas to pick up seats for center right candidates is right here in the once Golden State. But even more, moms, this is what you're doing to your kids. You've been doing it for 20 years at least. If you really care about your children, you'll stop the racist, stop the little teary-eyed looks, and deal with reality. Any of you moms who want to come in here, we'll have a nice discussion about it as long as you want till the cows come home. All we can do is open the door. It's up to you to walk through it. Get to some of the local genre across the IE. And of course, we're going to have a lot of stuff backed up for tomorrow because we get to like 10% of what we're aiming to look at. We'll see there's a male thief suspect arrested, a person of interest sought. Over there in the Lake Matthews area, there's Lauren Romo, the person of interest. Good job of that. Former Hemet State Senator Dave Kelly passes at 96. Rest easy, sir. Harupa Valley cops are the champs. They won the softball championship around here for the 2nd year in a row. Good job, Harupa V cops. A death stabbing in Claremont. Man stabbed to death there. Triple Crown scored by Marietta cops. They made 3 arrests on there. And it's always been my contention, better than the DUI checkpoints is saturation patrols on getting DUIs and Marietta cops. I think they're up to 100 arrests just on that one, and I think she's a lady that's on that Pacific Patrol. Just one person. More arrests than they kidded that. Dog rescue in the IE. 18 pups and dogs were rescued from a Coachella Valley home. In that, Canine Rio from Riverside County passes, so rest easy, Canine Rio. Toddler found dead in Temecula. He wandered off. They found him in a pool. He was pronounced dead in the hospital. Very heartbreaking scene. Of course, the multiple murders of the people in the Mormon church in Michigan. Very sad story. Sarah Jane Moore, who made an assassination attempt at Gerald Ford, president in 75, passes. Of course, a epidemic is breaking out in the United States as we post on IE Newswire. Testicle injuries in women's sports has exploded since 2021. Gee, I wonder why. Trump is PO'd, as we said in the intro about that. He's going to get stuff done. And the indictment of Cynthia Ragosa, again, as we led off with, of Riverside, who's doxing ICE agents with others, is now under federal indictment. Ha ha, ha ha ha. Go Belisale. We got positives then. We got work to do. We'll get it done. Makes life worth getting up in the morning and staying up late at night. Take it away, Sean.
All right, Roy. I guess we'll have Dr. Kelly tomorrow.
Kelly will be on tomorrow, yeah. Hopefully.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
We're just running a new spot for Representative Isa also.
Isa.
Yeah, it's talking about no on Proposition 50.
Yes.
We got to run that like 30 times a day, so which is good.
Yes. We got is this going to be a turnout? That's going to be a turnout election. So anybody you know, get their ballots, get them in, drag them, whatever, harass them. But anybody you know, get on the phone and get people in, because it's going to be a turn. Whoever gets the turnout's going to win this. Whoever turns out their base is going to win it. So if we turn out our base, we'll win it. We'll defeat it.
Let's hope.
Yep. Well, we got a lot more support this time. The national guys are finally starting to pay attention what's going out here. So maybe we got a fighting chance to turn this crap around out here.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
You got it.
All right, take it easy, Roy.
Bye.